Hello everyone and welcome back to some more Marvel Champions. I have a habit of recording way too much of this in advance, so you'll probably be seeing this about mid-January, maybe the tail end of January. But either way, I'm going up against Crossbones again. I wanted to rematch against Crossbones, and we're going to be trying out another new hero I picked up. We're going to be trying out Wasp. So we'll quickly go over what Crossbones does again, just in case you forgot or haven't seen the Rise of the Red Skull playthrough, and then talk about Wasp after that. So Crossbones is stealing the Reality Stone from Mount Athena and has the experimental weapon deck, which we'll randomise and draw from here, at the very least when he changes to Form 2. I think there's a tactics card, wrong game hand encounter card, that also makes him do that, so he'll be getting some various buffs, and he has piercing as long as he has at least one weapon equipped, i.e. damage goes through tough. So the setup, I've just used the suggested modules, so Hydra Patrol, Weapon Master and Legions of Hydra. That's all set up. There's the experimental weapon deck, so we're ready to flip this over to stage 1 of a 3-part, and it starts with 0 threat on it, but if it gets to 3 it immediately goes. And step 1, reveal the top card of the experimental weapon deck. So I'm actually going to shuffle this, and then we'll deal with the top card of the experimental weapon deck. So he's getting an exoskeleton, an exosuit, +1 scheme, +1 attack. You can spend one of each resource type to get rid of it. Not an ideal start right there, so he's starting very tough, and that's going to make the start harder, but I'm sure Wasp can put up with that. Let's go take a look at how she works. So this is Nadia Van Dyne, which I presume is the daughter or sister of the Wasp I'm familiar with. Not familiar with this lady or this version of her suit. She is a triple changer, as it were. Her and Ant-Man, I think, are the only ones in the game who are that. So she's got a hand size of 5 when she's in Wasp form. This is tiny form. 1 thwart, 1 attack, 2 defense. Small but mighty. After you defeat a minion, you can deal 1 damage to the villain or remove a side scheme. Or defeat a minion or side scheme, you can deal 1 damage to a villain. On her Nadia Van Dyne side, she can shuffle 2 cards with science resource from your discard pile into your deck once per round. Recovery of only 3, which is pretty low. Hit points of 11. Hand size of 6, but she also has giant Wasp form, so I'm going to have to move her down a little bit to try and fit this in. 2 thwart, 2 attack, 3 defense, and her special rules for thwart and attack is if she's in giant form, she can distribute that however she sees fit across all potential targets. So if there's a side scheme and a main scheme, she could maybe take 1 off of each. There's 2 minions out, she could split the damage if she wants. And she has certain cards within her deck that do extra stuff or can only be done in large form, some that can only be done in small form, and switching to one of those forms counts as your 1 flip per turn, is my understanding of how that goes. So I think that covers everything. With that, I'll drop my first initial hand, mulligan, etc. after this quick word from my channel sponsor. This video is sponsored by Noble Knight Games. Check out the video description below for an affiliate link that will take you through to their store, and it will help me out as well. Thanks. So I have just done an extra shuffle, and with that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. There is our initial hand. Let's see what we're keeping and what we're getting rid of, if anything. Well, we started with the Genius card. That's pretty nice. Pinpoint Strike requires you to be in tiny form, costs 3. The Power in All of Us, double the number of resources this generates if paying for a basic card, and it's got a wild card. Resource into the Fray, oh yeah, she's aggression deck aspect, I forgot to mention that. The other Wasp, this is Janet Van Dyne, again, mother or sister, I presume. I'm going to presume mother. So she costs 0 to come out. When she enters play, place 1 PIM counter on her, up to 3 for each energy resource overpaid for her cost. Fair enough. And she gets +1 hit point for every, oh, because she starts with 0 health. I see. And then Rapid Growth, that is for giant form. When you use one of your basic powers, change to giant form and get +2 to that power for this use. I want to keep that. We're going to get rid of Into the Fray, because we're definitely not going to have enough of that. We don't have a basic card, so unfortunately I'm going to get rid of the Power of All of Us. We'll keep the Wasp, we'll keep Pinpoint Strike, we'll keep Genius, so we're drawing 2 more. Wasp's Helmet, so if we're giant we get +1 thwart, if we're tiny we get +1 attack, that's good. And another Into the Fray. Alright, so that is going to be my opening hand. Let's see if I can decide what to do with it. Alright, so we're into the proper start of the game, and I've decided in advance, after looking at this hand, what I want to do with it. I think in the long term, we definitely want to get Wasp's helmet out, and unfortunately, because I want to get the helmet out, we're getting rid of the only possible aggression resource we had, so I am not getting rid of that exosuit this turn, which kind of hurts, but hopefully long term, that +1/+1 will be beneficial. With the rest of my turn, I have decided to get rid of rapid growth and into the fray. That's 2 energy resources to get the other Wasp out of my hand. So those were energy resources, so she's starting with 2 counters on her, which means she has 2 health. Just put the counters there for the sake of it. I've got a pinpoint strike in hand. You've got to be tiny for it to do a lot of damage. If this attack deals 1 additional damage to that enemy, and if you're in tiny, actually you can just do it, but if you're in tiny form it does 1 additional damage, so it's doing 8 and gains overkill. That is pretty incredible. Okay, so that's good to know. Speaking of incredible, Wasp's basic attack is 3 damage, so she'll take 1 consequential to get the ball rolling, knocking Crossbones down from 12 health to 9 in form 1, because that just seems pretty cool. So sure, let's start with that. We are going to flip to tiny hero form. So after Wasp defeats a minion or a side scheme, yeah, it's not going to be relevant here. We're base 1 attack in tiny form, but we're getting +1 attack from the helmet, and I'll just hit for 2. So down to 7. And that is going to be my turn. Keeping 1 card in hand, so I am drawing 4. We have got surprise attack. After you change form, deal 3 damage to an enemy, or 4 instead if you paid for this using a physical resource. Pretty cool. Pim Particles. So this is one of her unique cards, which is pretty fun as a mechanic. After you spend this card, heal 2 damage from your hero if you're in giant form, or draw 1 card if you're in tiny form, and it just generates a wild card resource. So that's pretty neat. So we're up to 3, 2 more cards. Biosynthetic Wings. You gain the aerial trait, and when you would take any amount of damage if you're in tiny form, exhaust the synthetic wings to prevent 1 of that damage. That's fine. And then another rapid growth, which we have already covered. So ready all the cards. And 1 threat on the main scheme. It only needs to get to 3 when you're playing with 1 hero to forward to the next part. Crossbones is attacking me. I am going to defend. And he's hitting for a base of 2 plus. Oh, good grief. So that's 5 damage. I block 2 and take 3. So we're down to 8. That was a nasty opening salvo. And encounter card. Gang up. The villain and each minion engaged with you attacks you. Well, are we just going to take this hit? I want to use Wasp to attack, not just take a hit for as in other Wasp. So yeah, I'm just going to take the hit. So it's 2, 3 more damage. So we are down to 5 health after 1 turn. Ow! We're starting this turn knowing that we're going to have to flip down and recover because he hit us really hard there. But we can hit him really hard as well. And I think that's what I'm going to do, because I can't change to giant form, as much as it would be fun, because then we could rapid growth to get there, but because we defended, we're already tapped. Surprise attack would do 3 damage, but the best possible damage we can do is definitely with pinpoint strike, especially because we're in tiny form. So we'll use Pim Particles to pay for that. That's 1 of the 3 required. Rapid growth, unfortunately, and surprise attack to pay for pinpoint strike, which is an insane amount of damage, 7 damage normally, but if you're in tiny form, we deal 1 additional damage, so that, even the extra damage doesn't matter. Crossbones has 7 health left, so we're immediately knocking him down to phase 2. So that was real quick. On phase 2 he has 14 health, so back up to 14 he goes, and he gets another draw from the experimental weapon pile, I believe. While he has a weapon, he gains piercing. When revealed, search the encounter deck and discard pile for Crossbones machine guns. I think they were the one that had the ridiculous number of hits on it, wasn't it? Yep. Search for Crossbones machine guns and attach it, and then shuffle the encounter deck. I didn't have to look through the encounter deck, so I'm not going to shuffle it. But now, this starts with 2 ammo counters, and it does true damage when he attacks, which is annoying, but hey. I'm going to keep the biosynthetic wings in my inventory. Other Wasp is going to go away by hitting him for 3, taking him down to 11. And the consequential damage takes Janet out. Darn it, Janet. And we're flipping down to Nadia Van Dyne side, and we're ending our turn there, so I'll just write myself up. Actually, it was 9 damage because of the helmet. Again, didn't matter. He had 7 health left. 1 card in hand, so I am drawing 5. Jane Foster, Mighty Thor. That's cool. Lie in Wait. So it's an upgrade. Attach it to a minion, and then discard it to deal 3 damage. The other pin particles, I believe there's just the 2. Another Lie in Wait, that's 5 in total cards, and then 1 more. Ant-Man, Scott Lang specifically. So he does different stuff depending on whether you're giant or tiny as well. So that is my hand. That's how we're ending. We've rated ourselves. We're going to have to use... Oh, actually, when we flip down, we can do this. Shuffle up to 2 cards with Science Resource from your discard pile into your deck. Let me see if I actually want to do that. Any 2 cards, or do they have to be her cards? As long as it's a printed resource cost of Science. Okay, we'll put Wasp back in and Pinpoint Strike back in. It also helps her not have a chance of milling her entire deck, so I'm going to shuffle the deck now, just slot them in anywhere. And that's where we're ending our turn. There we go. And over to Crossbones. So, 1 threat on the main scheme. That means this is going to finish, but I anticipated that. He is scheming for a base of 3, which is more than enough, but we have to draw the card anyway. He's scheming for 4. It completes step 1 and goes to 2A. He's found the Infinity Stone, specifically the Reality Stone. Reveal the top card of the Experimental Weapon deck. So he's getting another upgrade. He's getting a laser. When attached, villain attacks, the attack gains ranged. So he gets +1 attack and he's immune to retaliate. But I don't think retaliate is her thing. So that's not so bad. And then encounter card. We have a Hydra Soldier. We've got too many things. I'm going to have to move these slightly. He's got an exosuit, he's got his machine guns, he's got a laser gun strapped somewhere. And there's a Hydra Soldier with guard, so I can't hit him until the soldier is dead. So for this turn, we are going to recover 3, so 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we're going to go giant form. So we're going to flip up like this. Our helmet is barely fitting in now, so that means we can split things as we desire. And let's see, what else can we do? We are then going to play Mighty Thor. So she costs 4 to come out. We'll cover what she does in a second. I am paying with the synthetic wings, both line weights, and the other pin particle. Because we're in giant form, we heal 2 more damage. So that's us back to 10, which hopefully will give us a little bit of leeway. That's 1 away from full health. And when Jane Foster comes out, the pin particles are a wildcard resource. I'm counting it as physical. After you play Thor from your hand, deal 2 damage to the villain, or 3 instead if you paid for this using a physical resource. So he takes 3 damage and goes down to 8. Just like that. Now that's indirect damage, so his guard doesn't affect that. That leaves Ant-Man in my hand, and he's got 4 damage on him, or 4 health rather, so Thor will do 2, and we're doing, yeah, it's just 2. We'll just do the other 2. So between them, they'll take out the Hydra Soldier. When defeated, deal engaged player an encounter card. So that is for us. And that is my turn. Yep, I've got Ant-Man in hand. Hand size and massive form is still just 5, so I'm drawing 4. We got Wasp back. Powering all of us into the fray. And Red Room Training, it's an upgrade. If you're in giant form, you gain retaliate. Oh, she does get retaliate. Or if you're in tiny, you get piercing on your basic attacks. That's probably going to be our hand to get Ant-Man out next turn. But +1 threat on the main scheme. Crossbones is attacking us. So first, when Crossbones attacks you, remove 1 ammo counter from this card, discard the top card of the encounter deck and take indirect damage based on boost icons. I'll just take that. So we are taking 1 damage. That's down to 9. Now he's actually doing a pretty nasty attack. So he's hitting for base of 4 plus an encounter card. I think Jane's going to have to take that one first. We can block 3, mind you. So we're essentially negating all but the laser. I think if I leave Jane out, we might be able to kill him next turn, depending on how it goes. Yeah, oh no, but then I'd have to tap though, so I wouldn't be able to attack. I'm only hitting for a base of 2 though. I'll block it. So, as awkward as it is with such a big card, I'm blocking for 3. He's hitting for a base of 4, plus he's hitting for 5. I blocked 3, took 2, down to 7. And already got an encounter card, but we get another one after that. Weapon Master. The villain attacks you. If you have a weapon attachment, this card gains Surge. The helmet does not have the whipping keyword. He is attacking though, which is very annoying. I'm going to have to make Thor take this. Yeah, she's called Thor, Mighty Thor. She's taking this one, and it's a lot of damage. Oh, actually, first of all, this would proc. So that would have been the indirect damage, so I take 2 from that, down to 5. Then Thor is taking the actual hit, which would have been 3, 4, 5 damage. Attached villain gains piercing. Oh, you have to attach it to the villain? No, sorry, it's 1 boost token. Anyway, his machine guns go away after both tokens are used up. Unfortunately, Thor goes away, so there goes my plans of winning on the next turn. The other encounter card is a bog standard Hydra soldier with guard again. They're back in unpog form. This is going to be an awkward turn. I'm going to have to get rid of Ant-Man, Wasp, and the Power in All of Us to pay for Into the Fray to get rid of that Hydra soldier. It was awkward timing for him to come out. Deal 6 damage to a minion. For each point of excess damage dealt by this attack, remove 1 threat from the main scheme. So the main scheme is emptying, and he's out of there, but once again, he gives us a face down encounter card. That leaves me with Red Room Training in my hand. I'm going to flip down to Nadia. I'm going to make use of her ability to put 2 genius cards back in the deck. I'm going to put... I presume you can't do the genius card because its printed resource cost is 2, so the only card I'm doing is Wasp because that's the only one. So we're going to put Janet back in the deck. And hope for the best. So she's back in there somewhere. I'm keeping Red Room Training, so that means I'm drawing 5. Swarm Tactics, we're finally getting basic cards. Strength, that's good. Pinpoint Strike is really good. Honestly, as long as I can pay for this next turn, as long as I don't lose in this and next villain turn, we're going to win with that. Oh, another Pinpoint Strike. And finally, oh, well, I didn't know it was still Christmas, but this wins us the game as long as we live through this villain turn. So, let's see what happens. Crossbones, 1 threat on the main scheme. He is scheming, speaking of which. Base of 3 plus. That is 5, which means it is ticking over. So, it goes from the Infinity Stone to him getting away, or trying to get away, which is the lose condition if it taps out at 5. He gets another experimental weapon. He's got Retaliate 1, it's not going to matter. And then encounter cards. First one that was down there first. Concussion Grenade. We're in Alter Ego form. You are confused. Place 1 threat in the main scheme. 2 instead if you are already confused. I was not confused. And then the other encounter card. It's a Hydra Bomber. When revealed, choose to either take 2 damage or place 1 threat on the main scheme. I will place 1 threat on the main scheme because we're about to win. In fact, let's just go into our turn. So, Pinpoint Strike. We can make it do 8 damage if we're in tiny form. We will flip to tiny form. We're actually going to do 9 damage with it because of the +1 attack we're getting from the helmet. We'll pay for it with Strength and Swarm Tactics because Ant-Man isn't here, so we can't do the team up. So there's 3. Pinpoint Strike, 7 damage base, 8 if we're tiny, 9 plus the helmet. Nobody has guard. Yes, he would head us back technically because of Retaliate, doesn't matter. Although apparently you don't get the Retaliate damage if the hit that hit you takes you out, like it doesn't happen simultaneously, I've been told. So his Retaliate wouldn't even matter there. So that takes Crossbones down, and I got my revenge for the asterisk victory I got against him in the Rise of the Red Skull campaign. Wasp was pretty strong. So we won the day with Nadia Van Dyne, and hopefully most things were done correctly. I did notice while editing my first go with Agent Venom that I didn't realise holsters were 1 per player. It didn't affect anything though, because at no point did I have too many weapons equipped. I could have done things in order that I always had the legal amount, but I didn't realise you could only have 1 holster equipped, so that annoyed me when I noticed it in editing. Hopefully there's nothing incredibly wrong done there. We just kind of got lucky by getting her high damage cards. We didn't even really need to go to giant form. I probably could have just stuck with flipping to tiny form every single time there, and it wouldn't really have changed anything. So yeah, she seems very powerful. Her deck seems pretty good. She doesn't have a lot of basic cards from what I could see, so having the bonus resource card that lets you, what was it, power in all of us, it counts as double the number of resources. It means she has a 2-cost basic card, Ironheart, so she could get her out for the cost of 1 card. Like, that's pretty good. We just didn't happen to draw into it. She's got Miles Morales Spider-Man. He costs 3, so with the power in all of us, that would only cost 2 cards. So I guess she did have the card. She's got the Queen Carrier in there as well, because she is an Avenger, I think. Yeah, Avenger keyword. So she did have those basic cards. We just so happened to not find them. She's got the Power of Aggression in there as well that we didn't find, which would have been really handy. So maybe the basic cards do have a place in our deck with the power of all of us. Maybe I'm underestimating them. We did see most of her specific cards. In fact, I think we saw literally all of them. So her specific cards seem pretty good. Anywho, this was probably a short one. I'm glad that Crossbones fell so easily. I wanted some payback against him. Thank you for watching. Either way, please do remember to show your support if you are a fan of Marvel Champions and want to see more on the channel. All support helps get it out there, get more people seeing it. If you can support the channel and go above and beyond, I'd consider it amazing if you press the thanks button, or became a channel member, or considered checking out the channel sponsor. If you do so via the affiliate link, anything you buy, I get a little bit of compensation, which means we both get something out of it. And they do carry this game. I have bought some hero packs from them, in fact. Thank you for watching, and I shall see you in the future for more. Until then, ta-ta for now.